I've been trying to do this since December of 2020. In many ways, this is the ultimate card of this graphics card generation. I'm talking from AMD or NVIDIA. This is the absolute sweet spot for so many people in terms of price to performance. I'm talking about the RTX 3060 Ti, which, based on its MSRP and reviews, should have been the chosen one. This should be able to crush 1080p, deliver solid 1440p performance, and do it for under $400. I mean, $399.99, so $400. The problem is we could never get it at that price. If you compare GPUs at their MSRP, this should be the performance per dollar king. It's 25% faster than an RTX 3060, while not costing 25% more. The RTX 3070 costs 25% more, but does not deliver 25% more performance. And when you compare it to AMD GPUs, this gives the RX 6700 XT a run for its money, and again, if you compare it at the MSRP, it costs a lot less. The problem has been that this thing almost never is available for its MSRP, unless you get the Founders Edition, which in the United States, you're limited to Best Buy. Well, what I've noticed the last 2 weeks is that the Best Buy drops have been much easier to get. I've tried for over a year to get Founders Edition cards to review on the channel, and I finally did. I got an RTX 3060 Ti Founders Edition for $399.99 last week's Best Buy drop. I think these usually happen on Thursday mornings, so maybe keep your eye out if you're gonna get one. Now, the downside being it's in-store pickup, and I live an hour away from the nearest Best Buy, and gas prices being what they are, you know, I burned about $40 grabbing it, but that's still cheaper than trying to buy it online these days. Let's unbox this thing, check that it actually works, and see if I have to drive, you know, another $40 worth of gas to return this thing. Let's hope not. And then hopefully I can start getting some benchmarks going on the channel. Let's see this thing against a 3070. Let's see it against a 3060. Let's see it against a 6700 XT. Any other GPUs you guys are interested in comparing it against. Let's unbox this thing. All right, as many of you know, my channel is not set up super well for unboxing videos, but we'll do our best here. Anyway, I like the box isn't overly sized, and it feels very nice, solid, heavy, you know, just feels like quality. Something about the right, like, size to weight ratio on a electronics product just feels good. All right, let's slip off the cover. All right, seems pretty simple. It's just right there in the box. This is kind of interesting. The packaging is angled, and it's offset out of that, so that's kind of a neat little touch to make it feel a little bit interesting, I guess. Now, this is my first Founders Edition card of this generation. Like I said, I've been trying to get them and just haven't managed to do it. You know, all the other graphics cards I've purchased always had a plastic covering over the PCIe slot, but this one does not, apparently. All right, there's our 12-pin connector, it looks like. GeForce RTX. Okay, so you can see the fan exhaust here. I was going to see, are there any plastic peels, but it does not appear to be any plastic peels on this thing. Certainly, like, this feels good. I really like the Founders Edition designs on this generation of GPUs. They feel really nice in the hand, that nice metal feel to it. Looks like we get 3 display ports and 1 HDMI port. That should be an HDMI 2.1 as the 3000 series gets, which helps out on my LG OLED TV, which doesn't have display ports. Let's see if there's anything else interesting here. I'm wondering if it'll have an adapter for that power connection. Yep, there it is. So NVIDIA liked to on this generation update their power connectors before pretty much anybody else did, which means your power supply most likely doesn't have a matching. Your power supply probably has an 8-pin, right? Not a 12-pin. So you plug that in, and then it should just plug right onto your normal graphics card power from your power supply. And, you know, you get the funky little cable dongle attached. So it is what it is. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan that they decided to make that choice. But other than that, I really do like the design of the Founders Editions. I really think that's all there is to the unboxing. So let's go ahead and pop this thing in the PC and make sure it actually works. All right, well, we've got the PC fired up. Everything seems to be working. I have resize bar enabled. You check that in the control panel. And now, sometimes I get asked in the comments, I never really reply, what do I use to monitor all of these stats? Well, I just use MSI Afterburner with its Riva statistics server stuff in there. Now, it looks like my game has not realized what monitor resolution we're doing here, and I decided to throw this onto my Ultrawide this time. And one reason I want to do that is to talk about it. Last time I did a GPU unboxing video, I actually destroyed my Ultrawide monitor. It was pretty horrible. Let's kick this up to the Ultra settings for now. And make sure, yeah, DLSS is not on. Everything's off. Anyway, let's go ahead and run a benchmark here just to make sure the GPU is stable. And also you get some rare ultra-wide content. People looking for ultra-wide benchmarks. Well, here you go. 3440 by 1440p ultra-wide cyberpunk benchmark on the 3060 Ti. Anyway, let me talk about the monitor situation. So I ended up replacing it. A lot of people wanted me to get the Alienware QD OLED, and actually that is what I wanted to get, but then I had to think about, and this is a little bit of advice, when you're buying a monitor, why are you buying it? I actually play games on my 4K OLED, my LG C1 48-inch OLED. I don't really play games on my ultrawide since I got that. I just vastly prefer the OLED for gaming. So really what I use the ultrawide for is for content creation. I have my OBS window open in the corner, and then I have the website that I'm talking about when I do my green screen news videos on this side. I just want to fit them side by side. So I really didn't need a high-end monitor. So I also wanted it right away so I wouldn't have a delay in news content. So I just went over to Costco. Not sponsored by Costco in this video or anything. And they happen to have $100 off this monitor here. This is the LG 35WN65C, 35-inch ultra-wide. And to be honest, it's not great. I wouldn't use it for gaming. It goes up to 100 hertz, but there seems to be quite a bit of ghosting. It's a VA panel, so it's fine for the intended use I have, but it's certainly a step down compared to my old one. And who knows, maybe I will end up getting that Alienware. As we saw in this benchmark here, the ultra-wide 1440p resolution at ultra settings in an incredibly demanding game like Cyberpunk seemed to be a little bit too much for this GPU. Again, this is a great value GPU, but it's not a super powered GPU. For 1440p, it could be fine. Remember, ultra-wide takes even more performance. So we're going to go down to the high setting here, run a benchmark real quick, see how that goes while I tell you a little bit more about this. So anyway, this is also what I'm going to spend most of the rest of my day doing here, is just running benchmarks. Probably not ultra-wide, guys. Sorry, this is just to test it out right now. But hey, at least you're getting some ultra-wide content right here. But I'm going to be running a whole bunch of benchmarks on this at 1080p, 1440p, even 4K, adjusting the settings using DLSS, looking at ray tracing, and then I want to, like I said, put that up against various GPUs like the 6700 XT, the RTX 3070, the RTX 3060, and I know a lot of people have already done benchmarks on them and you've seen the percentage differences, but one thing I like to look at on the channel that a lot of people don't is, you know, what if we turn down the graphics settings? What does it mean? What if we do use DLSS? What does the actual real world experience look like in a side-by-side comparison running through some various benchmarks? We can see here that at the high setting, it's still struggling with the 1440p here. So it looks like we'd probably want to drop down to medium settings and or use some DLSS. We can see the temperatures are getting up around 71 degrees, but that's not too crazy. Overall, basically everything's looking like it should, which is all I was really trying to do right now anyway, was just double check that everything's working. And then I'll dive into some off-screen, just capturing of gameplay and get you guys some benchmarks. Now, it could take me a while to get those out. This is my summer break. Remember, I'm a teacher, so I do have more time here. But I'm also, you know, playing with my kids and having some fun over the summer. So we'll see when I get the benchmark videos out. I hope all of you have an excellent day.